Good morning, American government and police department and sheriff department. Forgot about the sheriff. A few minutes ago, I came out of the police department and spoke to the front desk. I didn't even bother to ask for a police CAD number because there's probably at least 100 in there from the many times that I have filed police reports against rape, cuts, piercings, sexual immorality, and now I want to add a new word, pimping. Pimping. And the reason why I want to add that word is because I believe it's become part of my life. I'm not the pimp. I'm the one being pimped, if there's such a word. I'm not the pimp, but I'm the one that's being pimped, if you could use that word. In any case, I came out of the police department because I needed to file a report. However, instead of filing a report, I just gave them a few words as to update them as to what was going on. I came out of 24 hours, and before coming out of 24 hours, I was given a warning inside. If you don't bring the police department into this situation, you're going to get hit. That was the warning. And I thought to myself, my God, when is this thing ever going to be over with these Africans out of that island? How I wish you Europeans had not brought these Africans out of Africa and had just left them there. I am angry with these Africans, these Haitians, because they have not learned anything since they left Africa. There's still war among these people. These are a hard-headed pagan people. And they have not learned whatever lesson they were supposed to learn out of this situation. The ones that were brought over because they were traded, I think, for weapons. They were the criminals. They were the people that were sold into slavery, exchanged. They were the captives of another tribe. They lost the war. But down in Haiti, they have not changed. The same condition that they were in 200 years ago when they were brought there is the same condition this God of ours has kept them in, down. There is no trace or evidence of them ever coming out of that pitiful situation that they were in 200 years ago. They're still the oppressed. They're still the enslaved. And partly it's their own fault, because they won't change their mind, and they won't change their heart, and they won't stop sinning. The woman whom I defended here so boldly a couple days ago as mother turned on me this morning, as she's done since the beginning. She went and laid with a Hispanic, or half Hispanic, half Haitian. And from the day that she did that, came out me, she blamed my father for pretty much everything, complaining that he was a womanizer. But if you, being a young woman, are so concerned about womanizing, why would you allow yourself to be used by a former slave owner? That doesn't make sense to me. If you don't like the Spanish, don't sleep with the Spanish. If you don't like the European, don't sleep with the European and then complain about it. And spend 50 years whining and complaining that these people have neglected the child that you gave to them. We are not in agreement. So she calls me names, I call her names. I have lost respect for her. She's lost respect for me because of the fact that I didn't submit to Gabriel. I didn't come into the country to submit to Gabriel. I didn't come into the country to be Gabriel's personal whore, or to be Gabriel's personal slave, like some of these people were brought here to be by force and oppression and hate. And today they're being choked to death. But point that I'm making is, I go into the police department because I was hit last night. I was led by the Spirit to pitch the tent across the street from Dutch Brothers, across the river, by the convention center. I had no contact with the coffee place, but I was stuck in between MLK and Grand, closer to Grand, next to that children's facility where I parked the tent, or was led to park the tent. It was in between the words dance and the word martial arts. And behind it was some sort of caricature with big lips. And I guess that was supposed to be Gabriel. And I thought that was pretty clever. But whether it was the spirit of Gabriel or the spirit of God, I'm beginning to scratch my head and wonder. I thought it was God. But then what happened last night was very disturbing. The community came out, or the supposedly 5 pastors, and what was disclosed, all internal, was I was supposed to do that for the pastors, and they were going to come and do that, or something of that nature. I'm not exactly sure, how pastors do that when you're asleep. I'm listening to all of this, and I'm writing in my journal, and I'm not in agreement with any of it, but I'm a sitting duck, The Negro that was outside of the Wells Fargo Center used the word scapegoat. I used the word nigger. So we scratched each other pretty good this morning as I was going to 24 hours. But I'm sitting there like, not a scapegoat, but more or less scratching my head and going, why am I dealing with this? I'm looking out the window of the tent, the 5x7, and directly in front of me is Dutch Brothers' big, huge television screen. And of course there's nobody in the building, and there's a line outside of vehicles of people buying coffee. I was specifically told not to buy coffee because my diabetic has kicked back in and my genital is in pain. So I thought, okay, I hope these are not sugar shots, but I hope it's just that my body is catching up to me because I've taken in too much soda this past summer, too much sugar, and I need to cut down. Why am I relating this to you this morning? Because this is a continuation and an update of what's going on. I don't like the idea of being raped 3 times in the tent, which occurred last night. I don't like the fact that I talk to the police department and they act as if nothing is happening and it's all in my mind. I don't like feeling like I'm being pimped by my own mother so that she gets $3,000 or $35 from Gabriel and D. Franklin every time she brings my penis up to use it openly, publicly. Whether it's in the back of the Justice Center, whether it's across the street from Dutch Brothers, whether it's right here at the bench. There's got to be a point where this comes to an end. When is that time going to be, American government? When is the police department going to step in? I was told if the police department steps in, I lose. Why do I lose? I lose because somebody has to wake me up. And apparently God has chosen Gabriel's tactics, the oral sex and the vaginal sex, to wake me up. Well, how can that be? God says for us to be holy. Why would a holy God ask or make such a request? As a matter of fact, she says to me, it was God's request that she did that to me. I said to her, you need to relate this to the government. If this statement is true, you need to say something to the government about your conversation with the Almighty and the fact that He has said to you, you need to rape Kevin to wake him up. I'm beginning to wonder there is something wrong here. We have a holy Bible. And the Holy Bible says this is a sin. Adultery is a sin. Fornication is a sin. Homosexuality is a sin. Rape is a sin. Evil doing is a sin. Murder is a sin. Oppression is a sin. Using someone as a scapegoat is a sin.
Amen, brother.
I don't understand why she would say that God told her to do that. I don't understand that. What would I get out of it? Why would God tell this old woman, take sex from Kevin for 40 years? And what am I supposed to get out of it? Tell me, explain this to me. You're the government of this country, running the lives of these people. You're the police department and the sheriff department, taking notes on every call, 911 call. What do I get out of this sex ordeal? 40 years she's doing it. 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, the Nanuet Group Home, Grace Community Church, the Master Seminary, Seattle, Washington, Cal State University, Northridge. 2000, 2010, 2020. What do I get out of this ordeal? HIV, imprisonment, cuts, piercings, oppression. Now I'm a scapegoat? I don't get it. You're the government that's running this country here. You're the one who brought us slaves here. Now I'm being pimped. Pimping means what? Any one of these African women can come in and out of the tent. Why is it that the government doesn't give a rat's patoot about what I'm saying? Why is it that the government doesn't care? Why is it that you don't care, government? Why is it that you don't care that grown men are being molested directly in front of you? Why is it that you don't care that God is using sex to wake a narcoleptic? Or am I making this up? Hasn't it been on national television what she has done? What she is doing? Now it's across the street from the convention center. Now it's across the street from the convention center. I went yesterday to Sierra Terrace, Northeast 102nd Street, cross street, Northeast East Tillamook. Big green line building. Big green line building. Big European woman comes out to give me the information to call the Beaverton office to see if this apartment complex has an apartment available.